Hi guys, my name is Matti Sulanto. I'm a photographer and this is Tuomas. You all know him. Of course, he's been in many of my videos before. And together today we're going to share some tips for street photography. And these tips are going to improve your results instantly, right?
That's a fact.
Today we are talking about a special shooting technique called shoot from the hip. And Tuomas is a specialist. He does a lot of that, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of that. You can see some of the results on my Instagram.
Link
below.
down below. Check it out. You probably won't get immediate awesome results, but you'll get something decent to keep you motivated, and this technique will increase your confidence in street photography.
And in a while that will lead to better images as well.
Yes. Street photography is a very challenging genre of photography, and for many it's intimidating to point their camera at strangers in public. But with this technique you can overcome that fear and improve your results quickly.
And it's a good way to get close to people, take close-up shots. Got one!
I see a black screen.
Yes! Awesome photo.
Tuomas, you shoot a lot from the hip. Why do you think it's worth learning that technique?
Well, besides getting close to the subject without drawing too much attention, we of course see everything from the eye level, and it gives a different perspective which could make the photo a little bit more interesting. You will instantly get great results. Not! Would you like to add something?
Yes, I basically agree with what you just said. But I think it's worth learning also because you'll get instant results with this. And I think when you start out with street photography, or any photography for that matter, it's important to get some sort of decent results right away to keep your motivation up. And with this shoot from the hip technique, you will get pretty good results fast. And I think it can keep you going and keep you motivated and keep you learning more. This technique is obviously not for perfectionists. Your ISO values will creep up, so your image quality is not the optimal, never. Your compositions are not always perfect either, but there is the element of surprise, and that can add a lot of fun to your street photography, and that was one of the fun parts of film photography too, because you did not always know exactly what you got. Tuomas, how would you get started with this technique? What is your tip?
The first tip is to get used to one focal length. A wider is better, maybe 28mm or 35mm.
Full frame equivalent.
Exactly. And also if you have a camera which has a tilting screen, it helps a lot.
You can cheat a little bit sometimes. Yes. By looking through the screen, right?
Yeah. It's not impossible if you with a camera that doesn't have one, but it makes things a lot more difficult, and you have to blind shoot. Hope you didn't ruin my shot.
Yeah, the wider the lens, the easier it is to hit your target. But if it's a really wide lens, you may end up with a lot of empty negative space in your frame that you have to maybe crop later or something. But with a wide angle lens, let's say a 20mm or something, it's probably easier to start. What I also do a lot, I cheat a little bit. If you're really experienced, you can shoot totally blindly like that without looking through the camera. The light at this corner is really beautiful, and I feel like snapping away, even though the pictures don't make any sense, but the light is just so beautiful and gorgeous that I just want to keep hitting the shutter. But I often walk with my camera hanging around my neck and the screen is out like this, so I can sort of cheat a little bit and look through the screen and get my compositions right. It can also be a really a little bit frustrating at the start if you only end up with rooftops or sidewalks and not the actual people you are aiming at. So I think it's a good like a shortcut to cheat a little bit at the start and look through the screen like this. No one will notice that and no one will pay any attention to that if you shoot like that. You might as well enjoy the journey and enjoy the learning process because nothing happens overnight. You can't learn anything overnight, whether it's photography or I don't know, something else, cooking.
Ice skating?
Yes, or
riding a bicycle.
Playing an instrument or whatever.
One of the pros for this technique is that the time when you take the camera up here and look through the viewfinder, the moment might be over already. So when you have the camera ready here and you have the screen open, you just use your thumb and quickly snap the photo.
So you'll be a lot quicker.
It is way quicker sometimes.
Thomas just said with this technique you can capture really quick events on the street. But for that you also need a fast shutter speed. And my advice is to use either aperture priority or full manual mode and auto ISO and set your shutter speed so fast that you will get a sharp picture even if your camera is moving a little bit. Like minimum is 1/500 or better even 1/1000. And the auto ISO takes care of the final exposure then. I'm using all manual exposure, f8 1/1000 shutter speed auto ISO. It seems to work really well right now. How do you get correctly focused pictures if you are not even looking through the camera?
One technique is using manual focus. You just put the aperture to 8 and then manual focus to infinity, and then mostly everything is in focus. Also, you can use autofocus. The modern cameras are so good with the autofocus, and if you're shooting with aperture in 8, then probably everything is in focus. This is not hip shooting, but the light is so amazing. I need to get some silhouettes.
Yeah, the light is amazing also here. That's another reason to use a wide angle. You get the wider angle of view, but you also get more depth of field. With my Sony camera, I often use autofocus. I choose the wide autofocus area and human face recognition on, and that usually works really, really well, even though I'm not looking through the viewfinder or through the camera at all. This low angle sunlight is fantastic, don't you agree?
It's amazing. This is the best time for the light in Finland.
Yes.
Autumn, it's always, the light is so super nice.
It just makes you want to hit the shutter time and time again and not even care about the results. Just hit the shutter because the light is so awesome.
Yeah, just experimenting.
Yeah. That's all we have to share in this video. I hope this gives you more confidence to get started with street photography because it's a really wonderful genre of photography, a little bit challenging like every genre of photography, right?
Very, very much challenging, I would say.
Thanks so much for joining in, and please do check out Thomas's Instagram feed, link down below, and see you in the next video.
Ciao.